I have to confess that I am a terrible person to watch TV with. The minute a commercial comes on, I switch to this different channel and so on and so forth, except for sometimes when I might, be tired or something like that. But there is a series of commercials that are very popular right now. They're on YouTube and you can Google them and so on and so forth. And I consider them really quite clever for the most part. And there are many, many scenarios. One with regard to a surgeon and somebody teaching somebody how to jump out of a plane with a parachute, and most recently now, someone preparing taxes. And the tagline is, "Just okay is not okay." And I think if Jesus were to appear today, he probably would have to have a marketing person with all the many ways that we have of communicating with each other. And I wonder if that line would be one that would describe what Jesus would want to teach us. That just okay is not okay. It so fits the level of faith that he calls us to. We don't mean to settle for mediocrity, but it's a shortcut kind of world. And so you wonder sometimes about God, who puts all these kind of invisible realities before us when it's so hard for us to cope with that which is tangible and real and visible to us. And then today asking us to love enemies and pray for persecutors when it's a challenge to love those even who love us, our family, our friends, to be perfect, as the end says, as God is perfect, really translates from the original language to love as God loves. On some level, when Jesus speaks this way, I think it's very easy for us to write it off and say, well, that's some kind of an ideal, but God doesn't really expect us to achieve that. Yet, does he? And what does God expect from us, and what do we maybe expect from God? Is God calling you and me to be average? What do we expect when we come to church? What do we want to hear? Hopefully, on some level, that we're special and wonderfully made and loved by God. And for sure, all those things are true. But at the same time, we are called and we are challenged. God knows I need lots of help, and so he sends tons of angels into my life. And Friday was a particularly busy day for me. And I had an appointment with someone who I had never met before, who had asked if they could come and speak to me for about 20 minutes about an organization that they are involved in. And so I met this young woman. Turned out she was from California, of all places, and she works for a group called Focus. And it's all about bringing Catholicism and Catholic witness to college campuses, but especially to non-Catholic college campuses. She was an amazing woman at her very young age, and we had quite a talk about all kinds of things, about faith, about church attendance, about discipleship, and she talked about the philosophy of Focus. You know, when she got her assignment with 3 other young women, and that's what they do. They travel in groups of 4, either all males or all females. And at this national meeting, they get their, in a sense, their charge where they're going to go. And when they read off her name and the names of the people she was going with, They said, well, I'm sure you will not have heard of this place, but you're going to a place called Ramapo College in New Jersey. So here she is from San Jose, California, packed up, living in an apartment with these 3 other women, trying to make disciples. And she said the leader of the group got up and spoke to the entire, hundreds of people who go out and throughout the country. And she said, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of disciples out there. The only problem is they're sleeping, and you have to wake them up. Well, we started talking about mass attendance and so on and so forth. And she said, the philosophy of focus is for them to work on one person at a time. And so she's literally working with a particular student right now from Ramapo. And their ultimate goal is to try to get 3 disciples in the course of a school year. She's pretty modest. Each one of the 4 missionaries, as they call themselves, to get 3 people to, begin to attend Mass or Bible study or in whatever way it does. Well, the amazing thing was the 20-minute appointment that I had etched out in my schedule wound up being 90 minutes because of the level of engagement that she had and the faith that she showed me, which always gives me hope. When I see somebody, I don't know, of course you don't politely ask the age, but I'd say she, I think everybody's young, but I think she's like, I think she's 25, if that. I don't even think she's 25. I think she's maybe out of college a year or so. And then, I knew her name was Sophia, which of course is Latin for wisdom. But the funny thing is her last name was Sage, which is Greek for wisdom. So it was like wisdom squared, My favorite 20th century spiritual writer, Anthony de Mello, Indian Jesuit, tells parables of the modern day, and he tells one that's called The Truth Shop, which I'd like to share with you, and I quote Father de Mello. Imagine yourself in a mall, and there's a new sign, a new mall, a new store, and the sign simply says, The Truth Shop. Well, I could hardly believe my eyes, said Father de Mello, when I saw the name of the shop, The Truth Shop. The salesperson was very polite. She said, What type of truth are you looking to purchase? Partial or whole? The whole truth, of course, I said. No deception for me. No rationalization, no defense. I want my truth plain and unadulterated. The salesperson pointed to the price tag. Said, The price is very dear, sir. She said, until I asked, What is the price? She said, Your security, sir. And I came away with a heavy heart. The gospel is a perfect lead into Lent. We can all do what we always do. We can cross off some boxes, give this up, do this, say an extra prayer, take a little black book from the back with, a passage of the day, spend a couple of moments pondering that. Or we could do something different. We could do something more. We could take that passage that's in that black book and see how it applies to the day that is at hand, or think about what Jesus is calling us to today in terms of forgiveness and understanding the depths of our spiritual being, the depths of our spiritual lives, becoming the depths of our Lenten celebration, our Lenten retreat. There's a number of activities we have in the parish, education opportunities. Father Bogomil's giving a series. There's going to be a few prayer opportunities. There's a calendar in today's bulletin that has kind of different things about honoring creation in the world in terms of both action and study. There's praying, fasting, almsgiving. It really doesn't matter what we do. It's just that we do something. But not only something, but like I said, not just a checkoff, but really inviting God to transform us and to transform our hearts, to allow ourselves to be the holy person that we heard that we are all called to be, that we had in that book that we gave out a couple of years ago about the greatest lie in Christianity being that we don't know or believe that we are holy. So we have a lot to think about as we enter into another Lent. And hopefully, more than anything else, we will believe and remember that when it comes to God and when it comes to our faith, just okay is not okay.